Okay. Good evening and welcome to the September 28th regular school board meeting. If you would all rise for a moment of silence and the pledge. Thank you. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for all being here tonight, all these students and parents. It's good to look out and see you here. Dr. Moxley.
Yes, good evening, board members, and good evening to our audience and those of you that are tuning in by the television. We want to welcome everyone here tonight. It is wonderful to see our community come out to support our work of our district. It is wonderful to see these young people that are here that we're going to be recognizing tonight. We thank our teachers, our administrators, our parents, and our community members for all being here tonight. We have lots of recognition, so we're excited about our meeting. And as we get started, my first introduction, it is with great pleasure that I introduce to you Rebecca Britt, who is a Eustis High School senior, and she's going to come forward. She is our student representative for this evening, and Mrs. Luke will greet Rebecca. Rebecca is a senior, soon to be of the graduating class of 2016. I know she's excited about that. She is a high achiever. She is very academically oriented as well as a well-rounded student. She is in the top 5% of the graduating class at Eustis High School. She has been the 2015 Girls State Delegate. She is a National Merit Scholar qualifier. She is Vice President this year of the Jefferson Awards, which is a community service initiative that was founded and started at Eustis High School and has carried on. She has been part of the National Honor Society and served as president in past years. She has been the parliamentarian, or is the parliamentarian of the Beta Club. She is captain of the varsity volleyball team. She has participated in many other sports, varsity softball, varsity weightlifting. She is the editor-in-chief of their yearbook. She served as the editor last year. Student government, she serves as the executive vice president this year. She has held many other offices in the student government of Eustis High School. So you can see that Rebecca is not only academically successful, but she is very successful in serving her school community and represents Lake County schools and Eustis High School in a stellar way. So we welcome Rebecca to be our student representative tonight. Her principal, who's very proud, is sitting in the audience. Thank you, Mrs. Velez, for also being here. So we will look forward to hearing Rebecca's report later in our agenda. Changes, additions, and amendments to our agenda. I would like to pull agenda item 10.02. This is a charter application. I know there was much discussion about that, and I did not want that left on a consent agenda. 10.03 has to do with Lake Sumter State College, so I wanted to make sure I pulled that for Mrs. Brandenburg. And 10.07 is our testing calendar, and because that is very complicated and I know that is of important interest to many people, we did not want to leave that on the consent agenda, and we thought we would deal with that separately. Dr. Gingras is here and will be presenting that. So those are the items that I'd like to pull for tonight for separate consideration.
Do any board members have other items they'd like to pull?
I'd like to pull 8.02 for discussion.
8.02, okay. Anyone else? Seeing none? Okay. Dr. Moxley.
That's all I have for that particular item, so I'll move on to the approval of the minutes. I recommend approval of the minutes of the school board workshop of August 31st, 2015, and the special school board meeting public hearing, final budget hearing on September 8th, 2015, as presented in board docs.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Dr. Moxley?
Okay, Then we'll move on to representation. The first item is the recognition of the Lake County 2014-15 STEM Alliance Scholars and Teacher Award recipients. And while we have our team of from Curriculum and Instruction coming forward, this is a wonderful partnership that we have had for many years. They first started several years ago as PRISM, and we just have really appreciated the business community in the areas of science, mathematics, technology, engineering, coming forth to partner with us so that we can deepen our expertise in the classroom for our students and to promote those academic areas for our students to gain not only proficiency, but a strong interest and desire to pursue careers in engineering and mathematics and science and technology. And so the STEM Alliance for the past several years came together to really achieve a critical mass to make a real difference in STEM. They wanted a one-stop shopping for STEM educational initiatives. They wanted to link education and industry together to make a scalable model for STEM and with the programs and the projects, and to create a type of sustainable funding model for these initiatives. And we have been very excited because we have been working along with business and industry for these number of years. Our curriculum team, they spend time collaborating with industry experts, with our STEM Alliance board, as well as providing collaborative time with other districts. So it has been really a stellar model, and we have so appreciated. We do have Steve Nakagawa here tonight representing the STEM Alliance Board that will be part of this initiative. So we'll ask Mr. Nakagawa to come forward. He may want to make some comments somewhere along the way here. But this has just been just a stellar way not only to implement programs, but to strengthen what we are doing in our classrooms and to recognize scholarly performance by our students and by our teachers in the classroom. And so it's just a wonderful night that we can take and recognize our folks. One of the other grant initiatives that we received as a part from the STEM Alliance was the Engineering is Elementary program, which is a model program, and that was awarded to Cypress Ridge Elementary School last year. So they've had one full year of that, and so we are really looking at the work they have done for replication. So again, I welcome Mr. Nakagawa here tonight. So I'm going to turn it over to these fine folks to do our honors.
Thank you, Dr. Moxley. Good evening, Madam Chair, School Board members, Superintendent Moxley. We are here this evening to recognize the accomplishments of our STEM Alliance scholars in grades 6 through 12 through the STEM Alliance of Central Florida, formerly known as the STEM Group. Central Florida continues to work with business leaders and partnerships within schools and superintendents in the Central Florida School Board Coalition and are committed to STEM education. Representing the STEM Alliance of Central Florida this evening is Captain U.S. Navy Steve Nakagawa. We all know him as Snack. That's what our friends think of him, right, Snack? And he's going to help us with the recognitions this evening, but at first I'd like to have him say a few words.
Well, thank you all for having this STEM Alliance here. It's, of course, Dr. Moxley knows a lot about the STEM Alliance. She serves as a representative of the Central Florida School Boards Coalition on the STEM Alliance board. So she knows a lot of the details and has described it. But what I want to make sure that everybody knows is that the STEM Alliance represents a lot of industries across Central Florida, from Tampa Bay to the Space Coast, Disney World, Orlando Utilities Commission, Legoland, Lockheed Martin, Craig Technologies, Finfra Construction, et cetera, on and on. And the reason that they all support and are members of the STEM Alliance is to support students like these that are stellar and do well and need to be motivated and shown what industries we have across Central Florida. So we have a chance to do that, to get in classrooms and help out with that, but also help your teachers in classrooms. That's what Engineering Elementary is about, is curriculum, kits, and instruction for teachers in the classroom, 10 hours per teacher. So it's a very big aid to those schools. The Orlando Science Center supports that and implements the training. The reason I'm here is I retired from the Navy about a year ago. I was commanding the Navy's base down in the research park next to UCF. And I saw that the need in the federal government for government employees is very large in the STEM education area, and that all across Florida, we need a lot more STEM graduating students, both out of high school and out of universities. So I decided to throw my hat in that ring, and I've been working very hard to support. And I have to thank Lake County specifically. Lake County Schools has been a leader in helping out all the other districts with implementing things like the Engineering as Elementary program. Anytime I have things to do across all the now 13 school districts, Lake County is the first ones to get their answers back. It's not because Dr. Moxley's on the board either. You have good folks that do this. So thank you very much. I really appreciate being here, and I'm very proud to be able to present these awards to your students today and teachers. Thank you.
Thank you.
And there are many individuals in the audience that would also like to recognize. We want to say a special thank you to all the parents that are here this evening. So if you are a parent that's here to celebrate and recognize your student, if you could please stand and be recognized. Also, I know there are several teachers and administrators in the audience. If you would stand and be recognized as well. And also a special thank you to Ms. Carmen Arnold, also Sarah Devereaux and Sonia Blackstone for helping to support this initiative as well. So without further ado, we are going to start with the recognitions this evening, and we are going to start with our STEM Alliance teachers. Each grade level, elementary, middle, and high, has STEM scholars, teachers that are awarded special recognition. In the area of elementary school, our PRISM science teacher is Virginia Scholenthaler for grades K through 5 from Cypress Ridge Elementary School under the leadership of Mr. Dale Delpit. If you could come forward. The middle school PRISM science teacher is Robert Jeffrey Moore, high school. Robert Jeffrey Moore, grades 9 and 10, Tavares High School, under the leadership of Janice Boyd. And middle school PRISM math teacher, Brenda Mendoza Vega, 7th grade at Windy Hill Middle School, under the leadership of Mr. William Roberts. And now we'll start with the student recognition. So teachers, if you could still stay up front while we recognize our students. So for the 2014-2015 school year in the 7th grade, most improved math goes to Rachel Kay at Umatilla Middle School under the leadership of Kelly Sanders. Most improved science goes to Ty Britt from Umatilla Middle School under the leadership of Mr. Kelly Sanders. Outstanding math goes to Matthew Allen from East Ridge Middle School under the leadership of Mr. Charlie McDaniel. Most outstanding science goes to Ashley Kropp, Umatilla Middle School under the leadership of Mr. Kelly Sanders. In the 8th grade, we have scholars. Most improved mathematics goes to Katie Zellman. She couldn't be here with us this evening, but she is a student at East Ridge Middle School. We also have most improved science, Melina McCardo at Gray Middle School under the leadership of Ms. Pam Shatnu. Most outstanding mathematics goes to Joseph Marino at East Ridge Middle School under the leadership of Charlie McDaniels. Most outstanding science goes to Hannah Carpenter from Umatilla Middle School under the leadership of Mr. Kelly Sanders. In 9th grade, we have most improved math, Emma Kessinger from Umatilla High School under the leadership of Randy Campbell. Most improved science goes to Jared Harden. He couldn't be here with us this evening. He's a student at Umatilla High School. Most outstanding math goes to Andrew Colondo III at Umatilla High School under the leadership of Randy Campbell. Most outstanding science goes to Meisha Med at Tavares High School under the leadership of Dr. Janice Boyd. Our 10th grade scholars this evening, most improved math goes to Devin Isbell at Tavares High School. Most improved science goes to Kara Funk at Leesburg High School under the leadership of Dennis Neal. Most outstanding math goes to Joshua Hodley at South Lake High School under the leadership of Mr. Rob McHugh. And most improved science in 10th grade goes to Rishi Besteo at East Ridge High School under the leadership of Miss Julie Llewellyn. Our 11th grade scholars, most improved science goes to Miranda McManus at South Lake High School. Most outstanding math goes to Lauren Carnault at South Lake High School. Most outstanding math goes to Andrew Mendoza at Lake Mineola High School. Most outstanding science goes to Hannah Fairclough. She couldn't be with us this evening, and she's at Umatilla High School. And we have some 12th graders that couldn't be with us this evening because they were all attending the University of Florida. I know some of us are really excited about that. And but I know that their parents are here in the audience to represent them. So we definitely want to give a big thank you to the most improved math, Brandy Walters, South Lake High School. Most outstanding math, Caleb Bright, Lake Mineola High School, and most outstanding science, Tyler Duffy. So if we could give all of these students and teachers a round of applause.
Before we have everybody move, what I'm going to do is I'd like to give parents an opportunity to take pictures. So we're going to ask if we can have everybody move down kind of center here, and you'll be close, but it'll only be a few minutes, and we'll give parents an opportunity to take pictures, and then we'd like everyone to come around so we can personally congratulate. So Ms. Jarvis and Ms. Arnold, if you can kind of help the students get kind of gathered there in the center. And Mr. Nakagawa, we're going to ask you to be on the one end so we can get you in there.
You need to make.
They might need to
rows.
turn a little bit, yeah. Shorter ones in front, taller ones in back. There you go. Do I need to go down and take one for Sherry? We don't have one. I think I'll ask Brian Stram. Okay.
Did you get him?
All right, great. We're going to ask you to come around, and we want to personally congratulate you. Congratulations, and I love the smile.
Congratulations.
Great job.
Well done.
Hi.
Congratulations.
Great job.
Congratulations.
Great job.
Congratulations.
Great job. Great job. Welcome. Hi, great job. Great job. Hi, great job.
Congratulations.
Great job. Hi, great job. Great job.
Congratulations.
Great job. Great job. You're welcome. Nice, isn't it? Hi. How are you?
Doing well.
Good. Thank you for all that you're doing for them.
Thank you.
While they're moving around, I want to make one comment about the students. They are all very professional, and they all look at you in the eyes when you talk to them, and that is so nice to see in our students. So that's a major point in your career going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, students, for being here. Thank you, teachers. Thank you, parents. We appreciate your support. Congratulations to everybody. He's the assistant principal. Attila. Mr. Nakagawa, before you leave, on behalf of the Lake County School District, thank you to STEM Alliance for their support. Thank you for working with us. Yeah. Have a great evening. Thank you. Okay. The next recognition is of the Social Studies Teachers of the Year for 2014-15.
I'm back.
All right, good.
So the the Florida Council for Social Studies recognizes the best social studies teachers from every district every year. The teachers were nominated by their school sites and by their administrators and faculty. And from those nominations came the three winners. We had an elementary, middle, and a high school to represent each level, and they will be recognized at the state level. So it's always exciting when we can elevate and celebrate effective teachers and teaching. So we'll start tonight's recognition with our elementary school social studies teacher of the year, Miss Paisha Weaver. She is a fabulous teacher at Eustis Heights Elementary School, where Rhonda Hunt is the principal. If we could have Miss Weaver come forward, please. In middle school, Social Studies Teacher of the Year, we have Rachel LaFontaine from Tavares Middle School. She's an outstanding teacher at Tavares Middle School, and she's under the leadership of Miss Trella Mott. If we could have Miss Fontaine to come forward. And our high school social studies teacher of the year is Nicole Dean. She's a fabulous teacher at Mount Dora High School, and she's under the leadership of Dr. Rhonda Boone. So before we have you come around, I see some people in the audience that are wanting to take your pictures. So if you could turn those beautiful plaques around and those certificates so they can get your picture, and then we'll have you come around and be greeted by the board.
And while we are taking pictures, just some just little tidbits of information. Not only are these outstanding teachers, but they also have some other talents too. Because if you had the privilege of being at Eustis Heights Elementary School, Miss Weaver sang one of the most, just a beautiful, beautiful presentation of our national anthem. It was outstanding. What a beautiful voice she has. So she has some other hidden talents there. And we have a Teacher of the Year finalist among us, and we have three just stellar, stellar teachers. So thank you for your service. Thank you for what you do for students, and thank you for being so talented. So please come around and we will congratulate you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, ladies, for being here tonight. And to the families that are here supporting our teachers, thank you for what you do every day to support them, to help our students and grow so well. So thank you for being here. Next, we have a resolution for drug-free lifestyles in recognition of Red Ribbon Week. So I'm going to invite Dr. Doyle up.
Good evening, Madam Chair, school board members, and Dr. Moxley. Resolution for Red Ribbon Week, October the 23rd through the 31st. The Red Ribbon Week campaign began in 1985 after the kidnapping and torture and brutal murder of drug enforcement agent Henrique Kiki Camarada. Because of what happened to Agent Camarada, there was a public outpour of support turned into an organized community response in which citizens donned red ribbons. They became a voice of prevention in order to reduce the damage, the demand of illegal drugs and illegal use of legal drugs in America. The following year, the California State PTA adopted the Red Ribbon Campaign. Then in 1988, the Red Ribbon Week was recognized nationally with President Ronald and First Lady Nancy Reagan serving as the honorary chair. Today, the Red Ribbon celebration brings millions of people together to raise awareness regarding the need for alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, and violent prevention, early intervention, and treatment services. It is the largest and most visible prevention awareness campaign observed annually in the United States. The 2005 National Red Ribbon theme is Respect Yourself, Be Drug-Free. One student stated that respecting yourself means looking at yourself every day and treating yourself like you would treat someone you love most in this world. Our students will have the opportunity to be involved through essay contests, drug-free pledges, photo contests, to name a few of the events planned in order to show our support for a drug-free community, organized and supported by the Safe Schools Department. The second resolution is for National Bullying Prevention Month, October. October is National Bullying Prevention Month. National Bullying Prevention Month is a campaign in the United States founded in 2006 by the Pacers National Bullying Prevention Center. The campaign was held during the month of October and unites communities nationwide to educate and raise awareness of bullying prevention. Traditionally held the first week of October, the event was expanded in 2010 to include activities, education, and awareness building for the entire month of October. National Bullying Prevention Month is recognized in communities across the United States, with hundreds of schools and organizations signing on as partners. PACERS reached out to the community through partners with educational-based organizations such as the National PTA, America Federation of Teachers, and National Education Association to provide schools, parents, and students with resources to respond to bullying behavior and to begin the shift of societal acceptance of bullying to social change of addressing the issue through education and support. October 5th, Blue Shirt Day. Wear your blue shirts on October 5th to stomp out bullying. October 21st is National Unity Day. Wear your orange shirts, where students will sign a kindness pledge not to gossip in a mean way, not to exclude anyone, not to tease in a harmful way, and not to call anyone hurtful names for 20 days, either in person, by cell, computer, or any other electronic device. Please visit our Safe Schools website for the upcoming activities and ideas to celebrate October as the National Bullying Prevention Month.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Doyle. We'll take each one of these separately for your approval. It's very nice to have the historical background. Sometimes we pass resolutions and things have been done year after year after year after year, and we lose sight of what the true meaning of why they came about in the first place. So thank you for reminding us of the historical significance of both of these resolutions. So the first one, I'd like to recommend approval of Resolution 2015-10, Drug-Free Lifestyles in Recognition of Red Ribbon Week, October 23rd through the 31st, 2015, as presented by Dr. Doyle.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
You have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to recommend approval of Resolution 2015-11, National Bullying Prevention Month, October 2015, as presented by Dr. Doyle.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much.
Board members, you do have a blue folder that has information in it about the National Bullying Prevention Month, and there is a list of activities, those kinds of things in there, and then a reminder about the Meredith O'Connor event on November the 6th at Mount Dora High School Auditorium. So you do have that there for your information. Thank you, Dr. Doyle. And then our last representation, I'm going to ask Judy Miller to come forward. This is Disability Awareness Weeks, and I think it's important to understand the significance of this event as well.
Good evening, Chairperson Stivender, board members, and Dr. Moxley. It is with pleasure that I come before you to talk to you about the first 2 weeks in October being designated as Disability Awareness Weeks in Florida. The first 2 weeks are designated by Florida statutes entitled Disability History and Awareness Instruction. It was signed into law in 2008. It requires school districts to designate the first 2 weeks of October as Disability History and Awareness Weeks, and also promotes providing instruction for students in all public schools to expand student knowledge, understanding, and awareness of individuals with disabilities, disability history, and disability rights movement. Many of you know that it was in 1975 that Congress passed the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. At that time, it was called Public Law 94-142. It has been reauthorized many times, and all of you are aware of people with disabilities. We're here focusing on students, but it is an area that will probably not escape any one of us as we age and disabilities become more prevalent, and most of us know somebody with a disability, whether it is a child or an adult in our life. So it behooves all of us to become more sensitive and aware as to how to talk with people that have disabilities. I invited the school specialists to submit to me their ideas of how they were going to celebrate these 2 weeks in October, and I certainly invite all of you, when you're in the schools, to make sure that you ask about students with disabilities, if there are any special programs. If you want a special treat, find a school with an ESE pre-K class and go visit the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, and you'll come out of there feeling really, really good about you and about your children, grandchildren, whatever the case may be, and you may just go home and hug them a little bit tighter that night, being very thankful for the gifts that we all share. Schools embrace this legislation, and they do use the opportunity to create activities. We have 2 major new initiatives this year, as well as continuing all the other things that we do. One is working through the Special Olympics Training Center in Claremont, and we're hoping to work with our high schools, particularly to start the Special Olympics Unified Sports Program. The Unified Sports Program takes students with disabilities, but they are paired with students that do not have disabilities. And sports is the unifying factor among a lot of young people, that anybody, any age can do something, and sports will unify them. The other initiative this year is the campaign to spread the word, to stop the word. The word derives from mental retardation, and unfortunately, as you heard tonight, previously in the presentation about bullying, there are students with disabilities that are picked on, harassed, and that derogatory term, the R word, is used. So we want to spread the word to stop the word. The Special Olympics office is offering bracelets to students, and in order to earn a bracelet, you have to tell how you got that bracelet. So it spreads from student to student, and they like the idea of wearing their bracelets. Gray Middle School particularly has taken this on, and through their Best Buddies program, they are emphasizing it. Most of you may have heard of the Best Buddies program through Tavares Middle School, and you will be honoring Michelle Matheny at a meeting further, I think in October, for her very important role in that. But there are many schools that have started Best Buddies programs, and it pairs non-disabled with disabled students. Beverly Shores has a daily riddle to guess a famous person with a disability. They submit their answers, and at the end of the week, somebody will win some kind of a prize. There also is a poster contest throughout the county, and when you're in schools, I encourage you to ask about the poster contest and take a look at what students have created. Beverly Shores, along with Claremont Middle, Triangle, and Pine Ridge Elementary are doing the bulletin boards. Then there are books with stories about specific people, famous people that all have a disability, and then with lesson plans that give educational strategies. This year, Leesburg High School was selected to participate with the Able Trust Foundation from Tallahassee, working through Carmen Columbat with the Educational Foundation and with the Take Stock in Children to identify 15 students with disabilities who will participate in a high school high-tech program. They have purple T-shirts to depict the high school high-tech, and we certainly hope that people with disabilities at the high school level will become aware of career opportunities that are there for them. Astatula is using a double bubble thinking map to show similarities and differences. The point is, we're all human, and we all have differences, but we all have many more similarities than we have differences. And then they will be role-playing the different disabilities. Umatilla Elementary School is using sign language to do the morning news and signing the Pledge of Allegiance. Claremont Middle School this year has a student with an interpreter, so they are using specific class periods to teach sign language so that everyone can communicate with this student. Leesburg Elementary, each class is developing a public service announcement of 30 to 60 seconds based on my disability is part of who I am. The focus is on having a disability does not mean I'm unable to do something, but it means I can do it, but perhaps in a different way. On October 27 to 29, there will be a rebroadcast of the finalists with the top 3 receiving recognition. Eustis Elementary and Treadway are doing a monthly newsletter throughout the school year, focusing on a specific disability with strategies on how to improve the learning environment and instruction for all students. Triangle is doing the morning news highlighting a famous person with a disability. Then it's in conjunction with the media specialist who will have books and will conduct media lessons on that famous person and what their disability was and how they overcame it. Umatilla Middle School is focusing on people first language, and it's meant to be positive and not using hurtful language. And that goes along with the folder that you received tonight. I thought you might be interested in Disability Etiquette 101. If you have ever traveled with a person or been around a person in a wheelchair, what's the one thing you notice? People will not talk to the person in the wheelchair. They will talk to the adult behind it. And as we all become more aware of people with disabilities and how not to be afraid, but how to properly approach people, then we all become more comfortable with whatever it is. There are approximately 5,500 students with disabilities in Lake County, the majority of which you would never know they have a disability. They are not obvious. They may be in the area of speech, language, and most in the area of specific learning disabilities. Of course, you have a special day school, Lake Hills, and I hope all of you have been there because it is an absolutely marvelous place that people from all over the state come to see. And we also contract with the Lake Sumter Mental Health Center for our special day school serving students with severe behavioral disabilities. Sometimes these children are not the most liked, and they do cause a lot of issues and challenges within a school setting, but given the proper environment and the setting, they certainly make progress, and we work with the behavioral disabilities too. So I invite you to have fun, go visit our classes, and always enjoy and just learn a little bit more about students with disabilities. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Miller. We appreciate the information and what our schools are doing and all the wonderful activities to address. So thank you for sharing that information.
Okay, the next item is public input. I have 3 cards tonight. Stephen Tibbetts.
And Mr. Tibbetts, you put down two different ones. We did pull 10.02, so we will be discussing that. 11.01 is under discussion, so you can talk about it when we get to it.
Okay.
Okay?
I just wanted to say that obviously Dr. Moxley is now anticipating me coming to these meetings when I hear the first thing I want to talk about being stricken from the agenda. But I'm still going to make a comment that the committee that voted 11-2 to send that application for the charter school onto you and then listed 18 concerns, I would hope in the future the committee would address those concerns before taking your time up to have to address it. The other thing is the hazing policy, and that's what you're talking about. We will address later.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Kathy Joyner.
Good evening. I'm a kindergarten teacher at Freeland Park Elementary, and while I stand here by myself, I have notes from the rest of my team, 5 others. Fortunately, this time of year with little people, some people tend to get sick. We have a brand new person that's not been around little people, so we just have a concern. This is the 4th year that we've had a new report card, and we have gone the route of talking amongst ourselves, talking to other members, kindergarten teachers throughout the district, our curriculum resource teacher at our school. We have even gotten communication from Sherry Smith. We have several things that concern us again. It's the 4th report card. We had our open house at Freeland Park, and we tried to present the new criteria to our parents to let them know what we needed. A lot of them, we have just had a child a year or two before, and they're concerned of how the grading scale has changed, and they're thinking back to their older children, either first, second, or even intermediate, or when they were in school, and they're thinking 74, that should be pretty good, and it's causing some confusion. Last year, the report card had a 4 on it, and that was considered a first grade standard. So there's still some confusion among our parents, and we're trying to help them, but we need some help so that we can make it clear and that we can help start our new little people out on their road to education in the proper way. And then when we look at our numbers, we have to master like 20 out of 23 standards, and it's supposed to be like an 85%, but when you have math people and they calculate it, it's actually an 87%. And again, people are asking, why does my kindergartner have to master 87% of the standards as a 5 or 6 year old? The sight words bumped up. That was one of the biggest things we had talked to our parents at open house. We are going to help your children with every strategy we have, but we went from, 64 sight words to 110 sight words. For an example, the beginning of this progress report card, our students need to know their numbers 0 to 10 and the colors, and that's something we had done at the end of last year. And so there's a lot of emphasis for our parents, of course, to be involved, but a lot of different strategies we need to use to help get them to master that. So there's a lot of concern. Plus there's concern because, yes, as a kindergarten teacher, I have to teach them their letters and their sounds, comprehension, reading, but we can grade it a different way. And we were told, well, yes, the intermediate's always done that. I've taught intermediate before as well. I'm teaching a standard. I'm going to give you a story. We're going to talk about comprehension. So, just a concern. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Joyner. I would ask Ms. Joyner, I see Carmen Arnold is here, and Sherry Smith, that those concerns, we need to make sure that they have that input. We did have a committee of teachers to work on this, and they did come and do a presentation. So it's good to get feedback now that it's put into play, and so that's very important to us. So thank you for sharing tonight, and we'll make sure that that gets reviewed.
Thank you. And the last one is Stuart Klatt. He knew that. He was getting up.
Oh, good evening, School Board, Chair Stivender, Dr. Moxley. Got a couple things. First off, I'm passing out, last year, the parents and teachers worked very well with the legislature in trying to cut back on the number of tests, and the legislature did just that in some areas. But one of the things that I'm passing out is a summary of House Bill 7069 that talks about progress monitoring at middle and high school grades is not required. So, and I know from talking to our middle and high school teachers, that's getting ready to disrupt their schedule, cut into their instructional time in the next week or so. So I think that begs for a discussion. Second off, I want to congratulate the Superintendent's Association for coming late to the party, but joining teachers and parents in looking at holding schools, teachers, and students harmless from the FSA last year. They just issued a statement, and I thought that was very nice, so I want to congratulate the Superintendent's Association. And finally, we held our contract ratification vote last week, and 64% of teachers voted in a secret ballot, and it passed with 90% voting in favor. So thank you very much, and it's my honor to be able to inform you of that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Moxley. Now it's time for our reports, and it's great to have our first report come from our student representative, Rebecca Britt.
Hello, everyone. Life right now at Eustis High School is a little hectic. We just kicked off our homecoming week. Today we started off with Marvel Monday, and as we speak, the Powder Puff game is actually going on. Tomorrow we will be having Twin Tuesday and a home JV football game. Wednesday we will have Greek Life Wednesday with a home varsity volleyball game. Thursday we will have Color Wars. Each class is assigned a color, so this is really a day it doesn't just unite the campus, but it also allows those kids who they don't really know where they fit in yet. They know that they belong with their class, and it's really a good way to have some healthy competition on campus. Friday, we have Blue and Gold Day. We also have the pep rally on campus and the varsity football game. Saturday, we will be having our dance. Student government has also begun the process of our Thanksgiving baskets. We give 25 away every year to needy families, and we also include yearbooks for those needy seniors. Jefferson Awards, some of you know Eustis High School has a food pantry. We call it the Panther Pantry. We are about to begin our canned food drive. It's going to be class versus class, so that's a healthy way to raise funds for the Panther Pantry. The National Honor Society and the Beta Club are in the process of beginning Smarty Panthers, for those of you who don't know. Eustis High, we partner with Eustis Elementary School and Eustis Heights Elementary as well. It's a tutoring program that occurs right after school. Our TV production club, Studio 126, just kicked off their movie in the park. This is a free movie that we hold in Farron Park, and with culinary, they also provide free refreshments. So it's a really good way for the community and the school as well to partner up. Our yearbook club was chosen as one of the 10 schools out of the country. So only 10 schools in the entire country, Eustis High was one of them. We are competing in a yearbook sales that will result in scholarship money if we win, so fingers crossed. We have decided to implement our Power Hour, which is an hour-long lunch. Currently, we have 2 separate lunches, and this will fix the problem of different lunch periods and not having that set-aside time to study with certain teachers. This will also fix the problem of those who cannot come to club meetings because of extracurriculars, sports, those who work after school. So I think this is a really good way that'll get those minorities that are not represented in school, they will be allowed to participate in these clubs because it will be occurring during the school day. And that's all I have. Thank you.
That's quite a bit. Thank you, Rebecca.
We're really busy.
Yes, you are. And Eustis High School has always done very well with community service to their student body and supporting them. And so thank you for that leadership. As a graduate of Eustis High School, it brings back memories of Powder Puff football. So it's nice to know that's still going on, even tonight. So go. Yes, we certainly understand that. So thank you very much for your report and for being here tonight. And then the next report's our attorney report. Mr. Johnson? Yes, sir. I like that. Thank you. And then the Form B, 8B, voting conflict is yours as well. 701? It's actually 7.01.
Oh, is that Ms. Luke?
Yes.
For the record, Ms. Luke filed a Form 8B voting conflict document relating to a item 10.01, this is the UCF Certified Community Schools Planning Grant, which was held at, I believe, our last regular meeting. Ms. Luke refrained from discussion or voting on that item as it could potentially inure to the benefit of her employer, UCF.
Thank you very much. Dr. Moxley. Yes, at this time, I'd like to recommend approval of consent agenda item 8.01, 8.03, 9.01 through 9.11, 10.01, 10.04 through 10.06, 10.08 through 10.11, with 4 items being pulled for separate consideration, and those items are 8.02, 10.02, 10.03, and 10.07.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the first item is 8.02. I believe that was Mrs. Luke.
Yes, ma'am.
I just had a question in regards to the purchase of the Renaissance Learning. This was Accelerated Reader and the STAR Assessment, and I'm going to apologize. I didn't get to this one until late last night, and I did not have the opportunity to call you in advance. I was just wondering is it still relevant? And I'm speaking more, both programs, and I know the way the Accelerated Reader is used, obviously, I've used it as a teacher. I've had my students use it, my own kids use it. The questions that are on the assessment, are they the questions that we're looking for that are going to ensure that the students really comprehended the level? If you look at Bloom's taxonomy, these questions generally fall in recall comprehension, and they're not following any analytical or evaluation or any of those levels of rigor. And my other question in regards to that, just for example, we use it as a motivator for reading. We have students set goals that pertain to their reading level throughout the semester. My current daughter's goal is 11. She has 15 points already, so she's already met it. She well exceeded it. I know you can change them. I'm not seeing it. Multiple schools that I've asked, multiple quantifying, 6 have not, just for the record, 6 schools have said that they aren't setting individual goals, they're setting grade level goals. And so then are we really individualizing the goals and motivating students? And then in regards to the STAR assessment, is there information that we're getting from the STAR assessment that is not available on iStation already? So I know we're purchasing this program, but if we're already getting the data, and I know multiple data points are fine, I wouldn't want to stop. I'm kind of at a catch here because I wouldn't want to stop schools from purchasing it as an additional piece of information, especially when we're looking at iStation that's so new. But I also know that it's $145,000 on the table. And is it, even if it's just the AR section that's not relevant, I just thought it would beg for a discussion.
There's a lot of multiple questions in that
Sorry.
question. So I have to say right at this moment, I cannot answer every one of those questions to the degree that you have. I'm going to look, I don't know that Mrs. Arnold is prepared to do that tonight.
Apologize.
I would, if you're not comfortable with this, we do have schools that are using this and using, and I don't have the STAR reading reports here that I can pull out to show you what they are. You are really asking, have we done an analysis of this? I would need to ask our curriculum team if we've done and Mrs. Arnold, if you're prepared tonight. If not, then I'm not going to just give you an answer to give you an answer.
I'm not prepared to give you figures that you might need to hear, but I think some misunderstanding. It is a twofold process. It is a motivator not only for high achievers, but for remediation and remedial children that read at all different levels. It's been a highly successful program in a lot of the schools, and a child can go outside their range and do independent ranging besides what a grade level does. It does do that capability. It's also used in our RTI process as a second indicator of grade level equivalency. When you're looking at trying to see if a child qualifies for ESE, you need 2 major indicators. It is a second piece that we use as an indicator.
STAR or Accelerated Reader?
STAR.
Okay.
And the Accelerator Reader, the push that I get to continue it is more than I would push not to have it from principals. So that's all I can go by is the request to please continue it. It depends on the individual school and how they use it. So as far as giving you numbers tonight or figures, no, but something specific, if you ask me, I can get you information.
My concern is that without getting, because I do think there are mixed reactions. Some schools use it more than others. As far as the accelerated reader, the STAR reading service to not move forward with that, I don't know that they have anything in its place to do that, and I am concerned with the MTSS process with that. So if you would, I can pull it, and it does, the subscription does need to be renewed. It does have an October 1st through September 30th. If we don't approve it tonight, the only thing I can do is ask the company if they will honor it for another 2 weeks until we have another board meeting, which would be on the 12th, to get whatever information. I am concerned just cutting it off without any forewarning to the teachers that are using it so intricately in the RTI process. So, board, I stand here at your pleasure. But I'm sorry, I just.
No,
and
like I said, whenever I looked at it again, I was like, oh, I definitely should have called to give you a little bit of time to do that, but I didn't get to that section of it. I guess I don't want to continue to do things just because we've continued to do them. And I would ask with the MTSS question that we talked about, if you need 2 points of data, is grades not a form of data that we can use, an iStation that we're using already? I mean, wouldn't our student grades be a point that we could use? No. It's what?
Diagnostic.
It's got to be a diagnostic assessment. So our textbooks, our reading textbooks. Okay.
So that's the biggest concern that I have, is that we don't have a replacement for that right now. I mean, I understand we would welcome doing analysis and that type of thing, and our middle schools use the AR program as well. Renaissance has been a big part of some of the diagnostic work, so I am concerned just cutting it off and not having anything to replace it with. If we want to do an analysis, we can set a set time to do an analysis, but otherwise we can delay it, but then we may be cutting it off too. So I don't like putting you in a position where you have questions that have gone unanswered before you make a vote. So I really would like to make sure you get your answers, but I am concerned that they're just as you bring up the point of, I don't want to continue to do things just because we're always continuing it, but I don't want to stop something that has been working and serving a need just without a reason to do that as well. So I think it works, you need to know that on both sides of it to make an informed decision. Martin?
I'd like to throw in some input here. I'm actually, I think, on the other side of this one. I'd like to do the opposite and expand it. Yeah, I come from a school that used it for their first graders. And when I was teaching kindergarten, second half of the year, I put my kindergartners on accelerated reader, and the results were really fantastic. And I know there are multiple schools in our county who have been purchasing the first grade licenses, so I don't know if that's something that we'd consider looking at, because when it comes down to this program motivating reading, there's no question that it does that. So I guess I'd kind of like to see us go the other way and expand what we offer.
Well, just as we have two different opinions up here, that is the way it is out in the field as well. And again, like I said, my concern, my reservation is that we have seen results from it. We have, and that's why my recommendation was to continue to do it. But I understand the questions that you've asked. They're valid questions. They're important to know the answer to. But I am concerned of just cutting it off with that. Now, whether we need to expand it or not, I think my recommendation would be is that move forward and let it be reviewed and do that analysis. And then that would be the decision of whether we continue to do it in the future or whether it needs to be expanded. Because I'm not prepared to tell you we need to expand it either, because I don't have that significant data to justify that. But I think it's an important analysis and review to do.
And I would be concerned if you stopped it also, because you don't know the impact it would have right now. And that does, what your recommendation would be, does allow us to do both what Mark and Stephanie said and do some research on it and see which way we need to be going with it. But it's already in place right now. We're already going in the schools with this program, with both these programs, so.
We are, it is a license per student for the number of licenses, and it's, the AR is $5.14 per student per license, and the star reading is $3.42. So if we get a significant return on that investment, that's certainly worth per student for reading initiatives. However, if we're not, then you want to make sure that we're not spending money that way.
Right.
But again, I don't have anything better to put to the plate than what we have right now.
Any other board member have a comment? Or just let me get.
Well, the history that I've had with it is that it works, and I think that we should continue it.
Bill, you have any comment yet?
Just absorbing.
Absorbing. Dr. Moxley, what's your recommendation?
I'm going to recommend that we approve the purchase of the Renaissance Learning subscriptions as presented.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I understand. It is possible for us to table this and get the information, more information that Stephanie's looking for to be comfortable.
We can always table anything, here. My concern, and again, it's just a concern, I do not know the answer, because I didn't have an opportunity to call the company. It expires, our present license expires Wednesday. So in that case, if the company were so apt to allow us on a temporary continuation until the next board meeting, that would be grand. We wouldn't interrupt RTI, we wouldn't interrupt any of those services. If they do not, which they would not be, they would not have to do that, then we would cease to operate with these two programs on Wednesday.
But we could make Monday's workshop actionable, couldn't we?
We don't have a workshop again until the 12th. That's why I was saying if we table it, it would be on the 12th. And we could make the workshop a special meeting. You could also do it that night, but the 12th is the next time for a workshop.
I'm inclined to, well, I'm going to shut up and listen to.
I was just going to say, I would be fine with getting the information on it. The questions that I've seen are not good questions. And the motivation behind it, if it's an incentive program that we're paying $145,000 for, I think that's inappropriate. I think we can incentivize a program for students, and I know that's including the STAR, and
Yeah,
that's a
I was gonna say
diagnostic.
that's
Right, but I'm
everything.
just saying that I have seen the questions that are on the test, and they're not what we're looking for. That's in regards to that, and it's just another assessment that we're giving with a STAR piece of data. So I'm not going to vote for it tonight, but I would love to have some information come back.
And we can do that.
That's perfectly fine.
Okay. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
Aye.
So it passes 3-2, and we will get additional information that will come back on the questions that were brought up.
Yep, absolutely.
For and against.
Okay, 10.02, this is consideration of the Pinecrest Lakes Academy Charter application. Board members, I know that you have had questions. There's been additional information that has come before you. I don't know, we do have some representatives here from the application. Folks from Pinecrest are representing the application. Dr. Teachout is here, board members. My recommendation is here. It is with reservation that I am giving this recommendation. I have spoken with our board counsel. He can certainly answer any questions that we have. And I understand the regulations that are in state statute with this. I do share some concerns from some of the questions that have been raised about from the budget. I also understand very clearly what the statute says. So my recommendation is in the board docs, but it is with reservation. I wanted to pull this. I did not want to leave it on the consent agenda. I wanted you to be able to ask any additional questions that you have because and the board council may need to guide you through this process. So however you'd like to proceed.
Are there other questions?
I got some major questions.
Okay, well, then, Mr. Johnson. Is there anything you need to brief us on before we ask? Okay.
Then, are your questions for the applicant?
Actually, maybe I could start with a comment,
Okay.
and then we'll see if it needs to be a question.
Okay.
When they came before us during the workshop, and I was pretty interested to know, or excuse me, the statement was made that Orlando operates in the black. That's what was said. Now, I'll admit in the black may mean something to other people, but to me, it means that you're operating at a profit, and that's not accurate. When we received the financial statements, they were showing a $42,000 loss, and they were showing a loan of $290,000 from their parent company. So now then, so that begins to shatter some confidence in our transparency to be able to work as partners together. A huge problem, as you know, or excuse me, a huge concern to me has been, we lost several charters, and those were based on, in the Milestone case, they decided to throw the towel in, they just weren't going to invest anymore. The parent company, Pinecrest, and there's several different corporations that all operate, all fine, but they loaned a total of $1.79 million to their other schools. Their instructional dollars in Miami are 47%, 54% Orlando. I have extreme reservations, and what I would like to see us do, I wanted to make sure that I was accurate at what I was reading. I sent it to the chairman of our audit committee, Mr. Kurt Benny. He reported to me today that he has extreme concerns, his words, and that he would ask that we not do anything until they meet with the audit committee. Let's get their input, or at least I can already tell you what the opinion is, extreme concern. So I will not be voting for this.
Okay, I understand that, but it's not normal, and Mr. Johnson, I need you to clarify that these go through the audit committee? Well, you're not talking into it.
But they don't necessarily have to go with the audit committee, but Kurt Benny's offered his services.
Okay.
But where we have a resource, which is pretty much CPAs, then I think it would be good for us to, when they're volunteering, it's pretty easy for them to cut through some of the minutia and support and give us information. That's all. Is that a bad thing? He just volunteered himself.
Mr. Mock is here. He's saying you're not picking you up.
Oh, there we go.
Thank you, David. Mr.
Dr.
Mock?
Teach out here?
Dr. Teachout is here.
Because I know we've got a deadline coming up on approving or not approving. I'm not sure we have time to go anywhere else. When is the deadline up?
The deadline is 60 days from August 3rd by statute, unless both parties sign an agreement to extend it.
60 days from August 3rd is coming up, I guess.
October 3rd.
October 3rd would be the 60-day deadline, which is why it had to be voted on at this board meeting.
Because it's Monday. Would be the,
Saturday.
yeah, but we move it to
Yeah.
Monday.
Doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to vote for
But
it anyway.
there would not be another board meeting, was my
Right.
point. But now, both parties, is my understanding, we can agree to extend that deadline if there's more information that the board feels they need to have.
I would prefer to do that.
Yes. What do you think?
Is there a representative of the charter school here?
The management company and the principal of the Orlando Replication Academy.
Could we ask whether you have any objection to extending the deadline so that we can
Could you
take
give
a
us
look
your
at it?
name first?
That's what I was going to do first. Good evening, everyone. My name is Fernando Barroso, and I work here in Central Florida for Academica. I'm here with Ms. Yasmin Khan, the director of Pinecrest Prep, the K-8 that's being replicated for Pinecrest Lakes Academy. I can speak of Pinecrest Academy, Inc. I can't speak for them. The only thing I could do is go back and ask them that you wanted an extension to, I guess, follow up regarding the budget questions that you have, but I myself cannot give that approval, unfortunately.
But we can extend it then for 30 days if that, is that what
No?
We can't.
If the
do it
Pinecrest
without
Board
their permission.
agrees, right, we mutually, from
Has to be both. Okay.
So, yeah, I wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't want to say yes or no. Pardon me?
Can you get them on the phone right now?
Probably not.
Okay. Just trying to help you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate
Are
it.
you in a position to answer Mr. Mathias's question?
Richard Moreno, our budget consultant for the board, he would probably be able to best answer any type of budget-type questions. I know Yasmin Khan may be able to answer questions regarding her particular budget. I can tell you, generally speaking, that no Pinecrest schools have ever closed for financial or academic reasons. And a lot of schools, as you may know, in the beginning, may need some type of support, not just financial, but in other areas. And the Pinecrest Academy umbrella a lot of times comes and helps their schools.
There's no doubt that you have been helping at the expense of instructional dollars into the Miami operation, which apparently is your largest school. And so all of the loan dollars have come from that Miami school that has the dense population. And that's where we see a reduction in instructional percentage. It's only 47% of your FTE, because you've pretty much carved out $1,790,000 last year in loans to your other charters to keep them afloat. And at what point do we say to ourselves, or you say, in Lake County, this is not sorting out, and we're not going to do that anymore? Because we've been there, done that. And that's why I am so apprehensive about this application. And I still am confused, Superintendent, and I had asked you about it. I'm not sure if you checked. But I don't even see how after 3 years you have a proven track record to replicate anyway.
Yes, we went back and checked.
Okay, well, we didn't speak about it. And, but
But I was under the impression we were going to have written responses to Mr. Mathias's questions tonight.
And I know that Mrs. McLeod did send those out and asked for that at noon today. I did send an email to Mrs. McLeod. I did not receive anything. So if those written responses were submitted, I'm not sure where they were.
I was under the impression that, yes, that emails were going back regarding the budget questions that were raised during the workshop.
Well, they actually came up after the workshop.
Well, after the workshop, yes, sir.
We did. There were emails that did come with additional information and a Dropbox that had some financials in it. Mr. Mathias, that's what he's talking about.
That's what I'm speaking of. That's what I reviewed.
An analysis of that. There were 3 additional questions that were sent on Friday afternoon to the contact that we had. We got it from Mrs. Teachild's office, and she was out. And those were sent, and we asked for responses from those today. So that and they're the very question, but since you were here, we had representatives here, we made an assumption that those could be answered here then.
Okay. Yeah.
But I did not receive any responses to those 3 questions. The one question about the replication, I do know the answer to that, because they've been in existence for 5 years, and they had 2 A's and a B. So they did meet the criteria from Mr. Johnson.
And if I can just add,
Miranda's been in business 5 years?
this is the start of the 6th year for Pinecrest Preparatory Academy in Orange County. And actually, our contract was just renewed. We had negotiations with Orange County, and they renewed it for 15 years. And Pinecrest Prep is an incredible story. It's a Title I high minority school that was an unrated F in year 1. And in year 2, it was in the top 3 of most improved schools in Orange County. It received a B, and it's been an A grade ever since, still Title I and still high minority, to the credit of the teachers and Ms. Khan. So.
And we did confirm the 5 years and the grades, so they do meet that criteria. So that question is answered. It's the budget question about the being able to pay for the facilities that didn't seem to be covered in the budget.
Any other board member have comments? Roseanne?
Well, I would like to have the same information. So if we could postpone this, would be ideal. If we have to vote on it tonight, I'm with Mr. Mathias, and I can't support it, not with this critical information being needed.
Okay. Mark?
Let me, I'm sorry, before you speak, Mr. Dodd, let me tell you what you need to show
Okay.
as part of any motion to deny the application within the time period. It's specifically spelled out in the statute. This is for a high-performing charter school. You have to show, one, the application doesn't meet the requirements, which essentially they do. This is probably one of the best applications I've ever seen. Number two, that they don't materially comply with the requirements in 9A to F, which is essentially requirements about not charging tuition and meeting health and safety laws and not violating any discrimination provisions. There's really no argument that they meet those requirements. Three, that the proposed charter school's educational program does not substantially replicate that of the applicant. The charter school is a K to 8, and they're proposing elementary in Lake County, so it meets that particular requirement. 4, that the applicant has made a material misrepresentation or false statement or concealed an essential or material fact during the application process.
Hold your thought on that one.
Or 5, the proposed charter school's educational program and financial management practices do not materially comply with the requirements of this section. So those are the 5 things. You must show at least one of those 5 are present in this particular circumstance in order to be able to deny the application.
So the.
Or you can act, I'm sorry, one last thing, or you can act conditioned upon an extension being obtained from the applicant before Friday afternoon to be safe, instead of waiting until Monday. And then you would have the additional time to investigate, and if you had voted to deny the applicant conditioned upon having an extension, and if we got the extension, then it would come back for a vote. I assume we would have the extension until the next regular meeting, which I believe is in 2 weeks.
The items that Mr. Mathias has brought up, do they fit in 4 and 5?
The test is clear and convincing evidence. That's a very difficult standard to meet.
What was your last 2?
The 2 I think you were looking at.
Yes, thank you.
Or 5, the proposed charter school's financial management practices do not materially comply with the requirements of this section. And 4, the applicant has made a material misrepresentation or false statement or concealed an essential or material fact during the application process.
Okay.
I don't
want to necessarily go that far, but.
I mean, right, there's information in there that you think caused concern, but I mean, it's another step to prove that was some intentional misrepresentation.
What was intentional was, and again, in my world, I live on a handshake. And when I look across and speak to someone and they say to me they are operating in the black, and then when you get the reports, it isn't accurate. And fundamentally, the most concern, and I shared it, I think, at the workshop, is the stability of the person we're partnering with. And I am genuinely concerned. I was concerned at the time about part of the model that made it work was a percentage of FTE is given to the landlord, if you will. I find it very hard to believe that you're going to build a facility for 700 with an anticipated enrollment initially of 200, and somebody's going to do it on some percentage. I have a real problem even fathoming that ever working. We don't know where the location is. We have financial statements that said in the black, not in the black, unless you begin, now positive cash flow, and maybe that's, I'm going to give at least benefit of the doubt that when I said in the black and they said yes, that positive cash flow, when you borrow $290,000, you have some cash in the bank. I mean, that's pretty much straightforward. But in fact, they lost $42K last year, that Orlando did. So I'm not questioning, and you're part of the academic group, right, that manages the school?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I think that y'all's success is well stated. But my last concern is that only 47% of the FTE goes to the teacher for instruction. So that's Miami, 54 in Orlando, So if that fits 4 and 5, I don't want to go, 4 is a little extreme to me, but I think I'm very comfortable that 5 certainly is a reason for, I'm flat out ready to deny, by the way, and they can resubmit, just so everybody's clear where my head's at. To come back and then justify what they, I don't know how you justify it, because I've gone all through the numbers, unless, there's no way you can be in the black when you're not in the black. I'm just sorry, it's not happening. So I don't know why we delay it.
I have a question. How long will the management company funnel money into the school before it says that they're not going to support it any longer?
The management company or Pinecrest Academy, Inc.?
Well, which one provides the dollars to Pinecrest?
I think you would have to ask your colleague. I'm not sure.
It's Pinecrest, it's not him.
Okay.
He's actually the management, the instructional.
Okay, okay.
It's Pinecrest. And they did close, and they spoke about it, they did close voluntarily a high school. And that rang with me too, by the way, because Milestone, if they were applying for a charter somewhere, could go, oh, we voluntarily closed in Lake County. So I'm not keen about this.
I can address that if you want, because it actually was, Pinecrest Preparatory Academy was originally a K-12. It was a K-8 application and a high school application. The location where we currently are at, we're leasing a building from Valencia College, a fairly small building with a capacity of about 245 kids, which that's the capacity we were at. We had one ninth grade for 2 years, and we were going to open up a new facility that Orange County Public Schools did not want us. We were going to open up a big K-12 campus, so we did not do that. Because they were building a new high school, they were spending a lot of money fairly close by. So we stepped back. We wanted to be good partners with Orange County. Shortly thereafter, being that our facility wasn't conducive to a high school, we met with Orange County, and collectively we decided not to continue with the high school program, although we're now thinking about buying land right next to where Pinecrest Prep currently is, and is reestablishing our high school. So that was the reason for the closure of the high school. I'm very familiar with it.
So as a partner, you decided to close, but now you decided not to? How did that work again with Orange County?
No, Orange County Public Schools said if we could not extend from 9th grade to 10th grade to 11th grade, which we could not do with the facility that we were currently in, we would need to give up or voluntarily close the high school component until we had a site that was conducive with the high school.
Well, what was the rest of the story about that they were building a school close to where you
were?
Well,
Oak Ridge High School, they just rebuilt it. It was an $80 million project, and it was fairly close to the site that we wanted to do a K-12. And they asked in conversations, they would rather us not do it.
All right, so then how long will Pine Lakes Academy support the schools by having to give additional dollars before they say, we can't do this anymore?
That has never happened, so I would say it wouldn't happen. Pinecrest Academy, Inc. Would support Pinecrest Lakes Academy here.
All right, but if they gave a $290,000 loan, plus, what'd you say the other number was?
No, they've given $1.79 million to their other charters.
And so how long can you do that to sustain them before you say that this school is no longer sustainable?
That probably you would need to talk to, or I would need to have our budget consultant for Pinecrest Academy discuss that. I wouldn't want to say something right or wrong about that.
Well, and you're the representative. That's why we're asking you these questions. And as Mr. Mathias said, we did have 2 charters close at the end of last school year.
I understand.
One was Milestone, and the charter management company put money into it for 1 year and then said they decided that they weren't going to do that any longer, and then decided to close the location here. We just do not want to see history repeating itself because
Academica has been incorporated since '99. We have we have about 80 schools in Florida alone, and none of our schools nationwide have closed for financial or academic reasons.
Okay, but you said that the management company is not the one that provides the dollars.
Right, but we've been managing Pinecrest since their inception, so I'm just expanding out from Pinecrest to all our other network-type schools. That it hasn't happened. I can't give you, we would support them forever. We would probably put a lot of resources in to cure the problem.
But you hear what our concerns are.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely, and I understand
So
that.
that's the question, if you would be able to get someone that could give you an answer over the phone to say that we would like to extend this for up to 30 more days, would they approve that? Because we're not ready to go forward with this tonight.
Okay, no, I understand. I'm not sure whether I can get an answer for you right now on the phone. I'm sorry.
Mr. Johnson, what was your last suggestion after you went over those statute points?
If you were inclined to deny it based on the information that you have tonight, that you do that conditioned upon an extension being granted before Friday afternoon. If they agree to the extension, then the denial would not occur until you had an opportunity to come back and hear the information and vote on it in 2 weeks. Okay. It would also give them an incentive to have the extension. Otherwise, they begin the process of going through the Charter Review Appeal Commission.
Okay. Does everyone understand that? Okay. All right.
Thanks. Okay, thank you.
Dr. Moxley, do you have a recommendation?
Well, my recommendation that is on the table was approval with reservation because of the fact that, according to the list, now I know the board is having other conversation.
Right.
So, Mr. Johnson, going back to your point, then my recommendation, if I followed the discussion of the board, would be to not recommend the approval. Is that, I'm trying to frame how I would say what you just said.
I was merely listening, but
Yeah.
I heard that the majority are concerned about approving it at this stage without the additional information. The only way that I know to get them to agree to come back, it's not in their benefit to do so, because otherwise they would have a denial and they would then go to the Charter Review Commission without us having additional information, which they would have when they argued at the commission and then point out why all these things happen. So the one way to encourage them to extend the time and have you come back in 2 weeks would be to deny the application subject to obtaining additional information and extension of the deadline.
Okay, so then my recommendation would be to to deny the application pending additional information for a possible extension. No, okay.
Conditioned upon getting an extension.
By Friday.
By Friday.
Friday afternoon for a period of until the next regularly scheduled board,
Of October the 12th.
whatever that might be.
Okay,
Okay, I got it.
okay.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
awesome, thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
So you have until Friday for them to get back with Ms. Teachout, is that my understanding?
Yes.
And say that you agree for the extension to be heard on October the 12th.
And we need.
And we need all the information that these two and all of us need. Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you very much for changing your recommendation.
All right, 10.03, this one was pulled for a conflict by Ms. Brandenburg.
Yes, this item is Career Pathways Articulation Agreement between the School Board of Lake County, Florida, the School Board of Sumter County, Florida, and Lake Sumter State College. And I am an employee of Lake Sumter State College, and this may inure to my employer.
Okay,
At this time, I'd like to recommend approval of the Career Pathways Articulation Agreement between the School Board of Lake County, Florida, the School Board of Sumter County, Florida and Lake Sumter State Colleges presented in board docs.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Madam Chairman,
Yes, sir.
let me go back and beat on the dead horse for
Oh,
just a
Lord.
minute.
And you get on to us about that.
Just in case I have to read this into a record at a later time, I just want it to be clear that although I assume that they will agree to an extension, if they choose not to, and we're moving forward with the denial, that the denial and everyone voted on it based on all those reasons that Mr. Mathias expounded on during the discussion.
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
You have a consensus? Yes, sir. Okay, thank you.
Okay, the next item is 10.07.
Why don't we take, before we get to that one, if you don't mind, about a 3 or 4 minute break? Is that good?
That'll be great.
Okay, because we have to be out of here by 8:30 or David will get me. We're taking a 5-minute break.
Okay.
3-minute break, however long it takes. Where were you at? He's sniffing. He's got a cold, which is what I had last week.